Hello everyone, and welcome to another part of the fan-made series. This is the third different installment of this series, and this is a brand new thing called fan-made entities. So if you want to submit a fan-made entity, I'm only taking submissions for them on Discord. You can still submit your joke levels and your fan-made levels on Discord, email, or YouTube comments, but I'm only taking the fan-made entities from Discord. So yeah, I'm super excited to get into these entities. Hopefully you guys are excited too. Hopefully you all enjoy. Let me know down in the comments if you want to see this series continued, and let's get into it. As always, the first few entries will be from my patrons, and then we'll get into some more fan-submitted ones. So first up is Brooggli's custom entity called Entity 456, aka Scratcher. Now this is an entity that lives in Brooggli's custom level, which is in the fan-made levels video I made last, so I recommend checking that video out if you want more of an explanation for this level. The Scratcher spends literally all of its time roaming around the woods on this level. It seeks out wanderers that are lost so it can eat them. They have long, sharp claws and they walk on their fists. Nice. Its legs look like they kind of got cut off, so they just have little stumps for legs, but the lower jaw of a Scratcher also hangs really far down, and it keeps it constantly open all the time, which is kind of disturbing. Its eyes are pitch black, and it has 3 rows of huge teeth. Obviously, this thing's hostile, so don't go near it, bro. Surprisingly, this creature is actually a great climber, so you can't just climb a tree to avoid it. So if you remember when I went over Brooggli's level in my fan-made levels video, you'd remember that there was a cult group that lived out in the woods, where the Scratcher does too. Well, guess what? They worship this creature. Of course they do. The best way to avoid this thing is just to not go in the woods at all. But if you do encounter it, try to bob and weave through the trees and make it crash into one. That'll slow it down enough for you to get away. But if you don't do that, well, you're probably screwed. Next up is Glitch Mind VR's entity called the Drippers. These creatures were recently found on level 2,917,811. Yeah, I just did that on my first try. And they're extremely aggressive beings that travel in groups of 4. Nice. They have pitch black skin and really bright white eyes, and they leak an unknown corrosive liquid from their skin. They're pretty much covered in it, but specifically it comes mostly from their feet. Nasty. A normal sized dripper is about 7 feet tall, and it can run at speeds up to 21 miles per hour. Sometimes a dripper's color can be inverted, and instead of having black skin and white eyes, they'll have white skin and black eyes, and instead of dripping a corrosive liquid, they'll drip almond water. So, nice. The white drippers have a 1 in 1,000 chance of spawning on this level, and they spawn from almond water ponds. Now, I'm sure you're saying, well, what do they actually do? Why are they dangerous? Well, if they touch you at all, the area they made contact with will completely melt away and disappear after 4 hours. Nice. So, a 7-foot tall creature that drips a toxic liquid and can make anything it touches melt. And they can run at 21 miles per hour. I'll pass. Nice entity, though. Next up is Kezara's entity, named Casey. Casey is a Siberian husky that has the ability to talk. As if huskies don't talk already. I swear they do. And the dog lives on level 621. Casey normally is passive and friendly to wanderers, and will even help you find your way around the level. And sometimes Casey will even lead you to a supply room. And if you're really lucky, Casey will lead you to the exit of level 621. All you have to do is have treats on you, and Casey will help you. Casey can also be trained to fight off other entities and follow you, so that might be handy. If you do manage to make Casey mad, however, it'll lunge at you and bite your legs or neck ferociously until you die. Nice. So just don't make the dog mad. On some very rare occasions, Casey has actually been heard talking to something or someone that's not even there. Like one time a wanderer heard Casey talking, turned the corner, and saw the dog just looking into the air and talking, and there was nothing there. So that's weird. Maybe Casey can see ghosts. I love the idea of a talking husky in the Backrooms. Like, that is so random to me, but it's so cool. Last for the Patreon entities is Lobotomite's entity called Furniture. So these are, well, pieces of furniture, like cabinets, chairs, couches, tables, microwaves, you know, just furniture, that have ranging levels of aggression. Some of them are hostile, and some of them are passive. Couches and chairs consume whatever is sitting on them, and objects like clocks and lamps will try to make you go insane by blinding you with flashing lights. Nice. Or they'll just lunge themselves at you. I'm kind of getting like Beauty and the Beast vibes here. Anyone else? No? Just me? Okay. Next up is Nico Nessi's entity called Entity 510053, aka Garrisons. So garrisons are massive stone statues that are sentient due to galactic strings that connect their limbs together. There are only 4 known garrisons that are known to exist, and they all exist on this level. These things sleep on massive stone pedestals right beside their corresponding stone weapon, like a big axe or a sword or something. Kind of getting Lord of the Rings vibes. Even though they're massive creatures, they're actually pretty safe and friendly. They don't interact at all during the day, but when it turns nighttime, they get up and walk to other stone areas that are sprinkled across the level. The garrisons will actually chew on those galactic strings that connects their limbs together in order to create galactical dust. This dust is what keeps them alive and sentient, and the only recorded incident of a wanderer dying because of a garrison was when they've accidentally been stepped on. So just don't stand in the way of a giant rock monster and you should be fine. It's pretty simple. Next up is Xavier's entity, who is a mod on my Discord. And the entity is called the Disparity. These are ghostly black figures that have no legs, and they start fading away from their waist below. Their face kind of looks like a Smiler's face, but unlike a Smiler, these things are not immediately hostile. However, when they're in close proximity to a wanderer, they unintentionally overwhelm that person with their own feelings, which are obviously feelings of despair, because that's their name. These entities don't exist to some entities, and they're kind of like ghosts, and the only way you'll know if they're around are by the feelings they induce on you. Nice. Next up is OK's entity called Some Guy, ? This entity is a guy who lives in a mansion on level 11. He wears a suit and a top hat and has pale white skin and has no arms or legs. If you walk to him or ask him a question, he'll only answer questions or topics that are about the front rooms, aka real life, if you don't know what front rooms are. And it's completely unknown how he knows anything about the real world, but some theorize that he was once a wanderer that transformed into this Some Guy entity, and some say he was an entity in the backrooms that somehow made it back to reality and lived there for a while. Whatever you do, do not attack him or he'll become hostile and kill you. Nice. But as long as you don't do that, he's a pretty chill dude. And he even offers you hot or cold milk, so that's kind of nice. And this milk even has 10 drops of super almond water in it. So we got a guy with no arms or legs in a white suit and a top hat that lives in a mansion and offers you super almond water milk. Nice. Next up is Inverted Jack's entity, who is another mod on my Discord. He created and drew this entity, and it's called the Broogli entity. So pretty much the Broogli entity started out as a human who entered the backrooms. So the thumbs up guy, you all know him. He studied how it worked, and he studied everything you need to know about it until he came to a strange level with backrooms radiation inside of it. This radiation caused his head to get big and become this guy, and caused multiple eyes to form on his face, thus making him the Wise Man Broogli entity from the Joke Levels video. Then on a certain level, the Wise Man Broogli entity got his head cut off somehow by an attacking entity, which is where we get my profile picture, which is the suit guy with no head, because the Broogli entity was so wise that he still couldn't even be killed even without a head. He could still just wander the backrooms. And to this day, he's still wandering around the backrooms, gaining an infinite knowledge about it. I like that. So pretty much the thumbs up suit guy, which is the Broogli entity, me, went to the backrooms, studied all about it, got so smart about it, until he visited the wrong level, which had radiation that he was exposed to, which then turned him into this guy. Still wore the suit, of course, though, because why not? Then this guy lived a few years, gained infinite knowledge about the backrooms, knows everything about it, until he got snuck up on by an entity and his head got cut off by it. And now Headless Broogli roams the backrooms, soaking in even more knowledge. I like that entity a lot. And last up for this first episode of the fan-made entities video is Vladimir's entity, called the Air Consumer. Nice name. You have a 99% chance of dying when you encounter this thing, and it's only found on level 19. The Air Consumer is a microorganism that has a pretty low chance of you actually consuming it, because it's only found in 0.01% of all the almond water on level 19. But when you do consume this thing, it feels like a normal cold at first until it gets to your lungs, but when it does that, it'll consume 90% of your oxygen intake, which will obviously cause you to pass out pretty quickly. And when you pass out, the air consumer will reproduce and then travel to more almond water to spread itself. And then it will begin to feast on your brain. In order to survive this bioweapon, you have to immediately drink chocolate milk or super almond water, or else you're a goner. So that is it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed these custom entities. I know you all love the Backrooms Creatures videos, and these are pretty similar, so expect more of these. These are super fun to make. Thank you all for your incredible support. Seriously, it's incredible. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.